Hello there, I'm Ben and welcome to Far From Expert Cooking, the show where I'll be just as surprised as you are by the outcome of what we're going to do today. And today, do we have a delicacy for you. Today we're gonna go full Argentinian and we're gonna make Argentinian sausages. Now, we're not just gonna cook a sausage, we are actually going to make it from scratch. We are going to grind the meat, season it, we're gonna fill the sausages and then we're gonna barbecue them. It's gonna be amazing. The reason why I make my own Argentinian sausages is because you can't really get them in the UK, and it's basically just a little bit of a different flavor profile. So there's nutmeg involved, there's oregano, there's garlic, so it's a little bit different from what you would get on a regular British sausage. So that's what we're going to make today. We are going to go on the step by step. If you don't have a meat grinder or a sausage maker, you can go through certain steps of it, and we'll put in the video where you can start the recipe if you have already the means. Okay, so let's have a look at the ingredients that we have for today. I'm going to make them 100% pork. So what we have here is some pork leg and pork shoulder, some pork fat, some bacon, the spices, including wine, including as well a little bit of thread to tie them, and the casing of the sausages. And of course, whenever you're using this type of equipment, the meat grinder, it's always important to sanitize it. So always sanitize your equipment before you use them. Okay, so I have my glass of white wine with me because, you know, I'm cooking. Now, we're filming this at the point where we're still on quarantine, so when I went to the butcher's, I kind of prefer to sort of leave space and time for other people to shop. And what I've done is I've taken the rind off myself from the leg and the shoulder. You can ask the butcher to do that for you. But what I'm going to do is, instead of throwing it away, I'm going to rub it and I'm going to make some crackling. I've made a quick rub, which is oil, salt, pepper, and since I've had it in my cupboard, I'm using chip spice. So chip spice is apparently a very British thing that you can only get in Hull. I never pronounced that city right, so it's the one that's Hull. And I just made a quick rub, and I'm just going to pencil a little bit the oil on the rind. I'm going to put it in the oven at 250 degrees for about 40 minutes, or at least it's crackling enough. So the next step is cubing the meat for it to be ground. I have my meat grinder here. So this piece of equipment I bought online, and I bought for about £70. So it's not cheap, but it's not as expensive as you might think. Of course, your option is to talk to your butcher. Your butcher will be happy to grab the pieces of meat that you choose and just grind them and do it all for you. So this is a step that is completely avoidable. You don't necessarily need this machine for it. I just use it because I want to know what type of meat I'm putting into anything that is ground meat, basically. So just always respect the manufacturer's instructions of how big the pieces need to be. So in this case, I'm gonna do pieces that are about a couple of centimeters, cubes more or less of a couple of centimeters. So this is more or less what I'm looking for, that is going to basically go into the grinder. Okay. Okay, so we have all of our meat diced and ready. We have the meat grinder. For grinding, for Argentinian sausages, I'm going to use the largest implement that the grinder has. It looks really big, but then when it comes to it, it's not really. So let's get grinding. Now this is going to make a lot of noise. Okay, so the crackling has been in the oven now and it's ready to go. So basically this is how it's supposed to look like. You'll see that you get all of the bubbles. And there you go. Start snacking before continuing with the rest. Okay, so if you have talked to your butcher and you have the minced meat, this is the part where your recipe starts. Okay, so let's talk a little bit quantity so we can talk about seasoning. Meat. I have about 1.7 kilos of shoulder of pork, 1.7 kilo of leg of pork, 1.2 of smoked back bacon, and about half a kilo of pork fat. So it's overall about 5 kilos of meat. So it's a lot of meat, so we're gonna need a lot of seasoning. For the seasoning, I have here about 100 grams of salt, 14 grams of oregano, about 24 grams of chili flakes, or what we call ají molido in Argentina, 5 grams of nutmeg, of ground nutmeg, about 7 grams of ground white pepper, and I also have 10 cloves of garlic. Now, two things about the quantities. I fiddled a lot with these quantities over time because I don't know, at the beginning they were too spicy, then they were too salty, so I reduced and up some of the quantities. So you toy with your own. And the other thing is garlic. So garlic oxidizes and blackens, and when we're talking about 5 kilos of meat, you're not going to eat it in 2 days. So what's going to happen if you add the garlic into the mix is that it is going to blacken and it's going to give the sausages an awful look. So what we're going to do is we're going to extract that flavor, and the way we're going to do it is we're going to add all of this garlic into 150 mils that we have here of white wine. I use a Chardonnay because I like to use a crisp and dry wine. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this to the boil and then let it simmer for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to strain it and add it into the meat, the wine. Okay, so I have the wine that I left to chill before I mix it, and now it's time to mix it. So I'm putting just a part of the meat here, and I'm adding the wine here, and all of the spices, and we'll start blending. And once it's really well mixed, I'm going to start adding more of the meat and make sure that everything is very, very well mixed. You don't want to have patches of flavor in parts of the sausages and no flavor in part of the other. Okay, so now we've given the meat a very good mix. You notice that I haven't used any other filling. I haven't added any breadcrumbs or anything else. And the reason for that is simply just it doesn't need it. Realistically, it has a relatively high content of fat, but that fat then can drip off when you cook it. So you can puncture the sausage or basically you can just drip it off. Now, what's next? So as you remember, I've used about 150 mils of white wine for the garlic. The rest I've drunk, so I kind of need to lie down, and so does this meat. This needs to infuse all of the flavors of the seasoning. So this is going to go into the fridge until tomorrow. So that's a good 12 hours into the fridge, which is probably just how much I need to sleep to get sort of and also absorb all of that wine. So I'll see you in the morning. Okay, so the meat had rested overnight, so I'm going to take it out of the fridge now. Forgive the rest of the fridge. So for you people who don't have a sausage maker, then this is just ground meat, so you can actually just grab it and basically form it into a patty and just have a burger, and this is the end of the recipe for you really. You can shape it in any shape you want. For you that have sausage makers, what I've done is I've prepared the largest tube in the sausage maker, and I left the casing, the tube of casing, in slightly warm water. This is because this comes covered in salt, so it's not really malleable and it'll break. You want to have only slight warm water. You don't want the casing to cook. So once it's there, you'll notice that it becomes more malleable and easier to work with. It's going to be more flexible and it's not going to break. Otherwise, it's just going to break open. Okay, so it's time to start filling our sausages. The first thing that I've done is brine the system. You don't want to be putting air into the sausage, so basically you just need to run it until you don't have any air in the system. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the casing into the tubing here and basically tie a nut in the end and start filling the sausages. Okay, so we are ready to go now. I'm not the best at filling the sausage, I have to be honest. So what I'll do is I'll just go slowly. So basically, this is going to make a lot of noise. But you want to grab here to make sure you have a hold of the first sausage so it doesn't break. And then you slowly start pushing. You need a little bit of resistance to get the length of the sausage that you want. And then you have to push the meat down. Now, once the sausage has got to the length that you want to give it a little bit of a press, like that, so you can separate one sausage from the other by just turning them. Remember to be gentle with it, so it doesn't fall. And there you go, our first sausage is ready. So let's continue filling them up. Okay, so for the tying, I like to use a spoon that I roll the thread around just to be a little bit of guidance. So for tying, what you do is you just go to the end and pass it below, and you get this. And then basically you just need to make a hole and pass the spoon. And there you go. It's a very, very simple method, and the spoon makes it all that much easier. So here you go, the first 6 sausages are ready. So remember, if you want to freeze them in a way that they don't touch each other, and then once frozen you can put them in a bag, but these are going straight into the barbecue. It's taken a while, but we're finished with the sausages. Overall, from the 5 kilos of meat that I started with, I have a total of 44 sausages, so that's quite a lot of sausage. So it takes a lot of time of preparation, but actually it gives you a lot of meals that you can do. Basically what I'm going to do with these, I'm going to freeze some of them are in the barbecue, waiting to be tasted, and then just enjoy with the friends. You'll see that they're different shapes, different sizes, you'll get the hang of it. They are some a little bit wonky, the first ones particularly will be, so just go with it, relax, enjoy it, and don't stress too much about it, just go for it. We're in the barbecue and it's a little bit windy. What I've done is I've made a patty here with some of the meat, and here we have the sausages that are cooking very well. This is going to take a little bit, like about 40 minutes to be fully cooked through. And I've just added a rash of bacon and a couple more burgers just so we have a little bit of options over there. But sausages are looking great. You'll notice that they're going to drip a little bit of the fat, so the excess fat that you see is actually going to drip out of the sausage, so it's not going to be as fatty as you think it might, just because we haven't added any other filling. So I'll see you when we taste them. Okay, so the patty and the sausages are out of the barbecue, so now it's tasting time. Let's have a look at what these look inside. Ah, look at that. That is just a beautiful sausage. You can taste the seasoning in a very light way. It's very distinct flavor, but it's still very different from something that you might have tried before. So forgive me just if I go for another one. I could eat this all day.